Hey, this is your boy Kenny Braswell with 5 Flow, 5 minutes of motivation and not much more. Hey, this 5 Flow is a continuation from last week where I talked to you about 5 things to remember in a storm. Today I want to talk to you about 5 things to remember when you're restoring from the havoc created by a storm in the repair of what takes place to move on. And so the first thing I want to say to you is that you need to move slow, right? Number one is to move slow. And the reason that you have to move slow is because broken pieces still hurt. And so sometimes you got to take a little time to survey your surrounding, survey your feelings, survey the impact to make sure that you're not stepping over broken pieces. It takes some time to clean up the broken pieces, to restore some broken pieces, to get rid of some, to do what you need to do in order to clear the space for you to move forward. The second thing that you should be mindful of when moving slow is that wounds still hurt and they're still sore. And so you have to be mindful that the wounds that are created by the impactful things that take place in your life don't heal automatically, right? And you have to take time, and it takes time for that process to take hold and to really heal your wounds. And it's also important to kind of understand that band-aids and band-aid approaches are just designed to protect the wound. They don't play a real direct role in healing the wound, and that takes time. Number 2, never forget. I think it's important that you never forget the storm because there are lessons in storms, and it's important that you remember the lessons. You remember what you did to create it. You remember what you did to get out of it. You remember how you felt while you were in it. It's important to remember the storm. However, it's just as important that you forgive the things that have taken place in the storm. Those two things go hand in hand. You never forget it because you always want to be reminded, but you want to forgive because forgiveness is part of the process of moving forward. Number 3, at the appropriate time, you have to let go of all of those things you feel about the storm, because you can't move forward as long as you're holding on to the memory of whatever that storm was. And so when it's relationships, in order to move forward, you got to let go. In order to do what you want to do, you got to let go. But you have to do that at the appropriate time. Sometimes you got to take a little time to heal from your life storm. We just can't bounce back. Our bodies and our systems and our hearts and our memories and our minds and all those things weren't designed to just bounce right back after a storm. Those things take time, but at the appropriate time, you need to let it go. Number 4, use what's useful, throw away the rest, right? And so use what's useful. Use what's useful, the things that you learned from the storms, the things that you picked up from the storms, the things that you've acquired from the storms, the new friendships that you created as a result of the storms, the renewing of your faith that comes as a result of being in a storm. All the other stuff, the envy, the hurt, the regret, all of that other stuff, let that stuff go, because that doesn't do anything for you moving forward. And so when you're repairing after a storm, you have to begin to start to use what is useful and throw everything else away. You know the routine. If you were unfortunate or one of the unfortunate ones who had severe damage in your homes, right now you might be going through the process of seeing what is in your house is useful to keep to move forward, and you're throwing the rest of it away. You have to do the same thing in life. Number 5, and this is probably the most important out of all of them, and that is storms will come again. And so storms, havoc, disruption, distraction, all of those things are a part of life. But I believe that our lives moves in ebbs and flows, and that's what makes us who we are. We get better when we learn from what we've gone through. What's the saying? No pain, no gain, right? And so if you don't go through a little bit of pain, how do you expect to move forward? How do you expect to learn if you don't go through difficult times in your life? I said in my last 5 Flow, and this is something that I want to repeat to you because sometimes we can blame things for what we go through in life, and oftentimes, one of those things that we blame is God, right? And so one of the things that I always say, and I keep saying to myself, is sometimes bad things happen to good people for God's reason. There's always a reason for whatever's happening. Unfortunately, the bad things are worse for some than others, but I believe that bad things happen to good people for God's reason. I'm your boy Kenny Braswell, and this is 5 Flow, 5 minutes of motivation and not much more. Make sure you check us out on our sister sites, Fly TV, on Fatherhood Today, as well as blaze1radio.com. Check me across all of my media platforms, Facebook at Kenneth Braswell and Braswell Kenneth. Google me, you'll find me all over the place. And always remember this: be kind to others as you're kind to yourself, or you might find yourself by yourself. Always shoot high for your goals, because even if you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. I'm your boy Kenny Braswell, and till next week, peace out, God bless, and be safe.